Welcome back to the OP Survival World. I know, it's a lot different. I have never done a time lapse in this world before, or in general. I think this is the first time I've ever done it. Not the first time I've ever done replay mod though. I have done that a little bit, but that was over a year ago, so I kind of had to relearn it, and it's been going really smooth. You know, it only crashed once, but hey, it works. It works nicely, no complaints. What you're watching now is me filling in and maybe even creating some of the skeletons of the mountains on the northeastern side of the island. I think, yeah, that seems right. On the northeast side of the island. I did not do a time lapse for everything that I've done since the last video, but a large chunk of it was recorded with the replay mod, so I'm gonna have that playing as a time lapse for most of this video because there's a lot of stuff, and this is the first time I've really done it, so I don't really know how it's gonna turn out. If you're watching this from the future, then you probably already know how much I use it in the future. I think I will use this a lot, but I don't know, maybe not. I really want to get at least more than one view on these videos because that one view is always me. I know that no one really watches these because it's on my second account and I haven't really put much effort into them, but that's going to change now. I'm going to put at least some effort into it and also, you know, just try a bit more. I think that wouldn't hurt. Now, I don't want to be talking for the entire time that the time lapse is playing, so I might have some copyright-free music playing in the background. If anyone does watch these, you can just say, you know, what do you think of this? Because I don't know, I haven't really had any feedback on this series ever. I've just kind of been doing it just for myself, but I want to start doing it for people. So now to talk about this area a while. I kind of skipped out on the area that I showed off last episode, mostly because I already have a pretty good idea of what I want that to be, and the mountains over here were a lot harder to come up with, and I'm not really sure what I wanted the complete shape to be, so I'm like, I might as well just start filling it out because that wouldn't hurt, and it helps me kind of get an idea of what the shape is at the bottom, so I can better make the shape at the top. And speaking after I've done a lot of filling in, it has helped, and the more I fill in, the more I'm able to kind of create the shape and update it. I still don't know what I want to call this beach. I've said it, I think, at least 2 times that I want this to be kind of a kind of deserted, dry, dead kind of beach with washed up junk and wood and bones. This area is inspired by a place called the Whale Graveyard from The Witcher 3. I really like those games, The Witcher, so there's probably going to be a lot of stuff inspired by that in this world because it's kind of a low fantasy medieval type world that I have planned. I hopped back into The Witcher 3 for the first time in a while, and I got a pretty good idea of what I want the mountains to be because it looks almost just like the ones that are in the game, but kind of on a smaller scale, I think. It quickly shoots up into a tall, horizontally tipped mountain. I don't know how you'd call that. There's no one single point that goes down like a pyramid. It's more of like a tent shape. That eventually will meet up with the peak that I've already made, but during this time of making this mountain, I decided to raise the peak even more, but I don't think it's gonna even go more than that because I don't think it can. Like, it was almost up to the build height. That's all I have to say for now. I'm gonna let the rest of this time-lapse footage play, and then we'll hop back into the world for some live commentary, just kind of fly around, get a better view of everything, and kind of go over what I have planned next. hopefully you enjoyed that series of time lapses. It was pretty fun to put together, but I'm sure in the future it will become more tedious. So, here we go. This is what I have gotten done within this episode. I'd say that is not bad. Not a bad amount of work to be done in a video. And we're not done yet. Well, most of it is already done. But I also wanted to show some more of this. Here, let me get up higher. And actually, let me turn this up a bit. I know I showed off like kind of this area last episode, but I've connected it all the way up there, and then along the coast here I've connected it. It's still pretty big spaces in between the skeletons, and over here, if you remember from the time lapse, they were all pretty close together, so I'll have to make some more skeletons just to get a more defined shape. And this is just the first time I'm making the shape. It's kind of like a first draft almost. Eventually I'll come back and like some spots like right here will be a different textured rock from everything else. Maybe I'll make this stick out a bit just to make it feel unique and not all the same like it does now. Let me get back up to the top. As I mentioned, the peak was changed. Now it's kind of up here. I used to have it going up to 1 point, which was right here. And then I made this area, so it was kind of like a flat peak. But now I made this, so it's kind of like growing. But it doesn't tip all the way at the end. It kind of goes up here, part way to the end. It's pretty complicated, but mountains are like that. They're not, you know, they're not perfect shapes. They're organic shapes. We don't really think of that when we think about land formations. You know, when you think of organic, you think like plants, animals, you know, moving shapes. But mountains, they technically are moving, and they're not geometrically precise all the time. A lot of it is just random shapes. So right here, I kind of did like an exponential curve upwards, where it flattens out right here a little bit and then goes steeper down here and then flattens and then goes kind of steady the rest of the way. There's a whole lot of just kind of making up shapes on the spot and then afterwards kind of fixing it if I need to. Otherwise, I just kind of go with whatever shape I've come up with at the time. So that is all I've got to talk about for now. But I do not want to leave this episode only doing that little bit. So I'm going to head over to my farm area. Still don't know what to call that. My base, I guess I would call it. And I'm going to make one more farm. I'm back over by the carrot farm and the witch farm and the gold farm. And I have constructed the start of a beetroot farm. I know, sounds pretty useless, but it's a farm, it's a resource I don't really have any of, so why not mass produce it? So, instead of just finishing this off camera, either before the end of this video or by the start of next video, I'm just gonna make this into kind of its own video. So instead of being like an update of what I've done, the next video will be me going over how I make these kind of farms. I've already gotten started, but I think I'll be able to explain a lot of what I do making a farm. So there's always a lot of stuff involved with the farms that I make, and I've always got standards for how they work. So I'll kind of go over that in the next video. So for now, thank you for watching. Bye.